Sometimes dead is better.
Oh, hi. Hey, hold the phone here. Look here, boys, it's February, and this is my month, bitches. Welcome back to Give Me Back My Horror Movies. I am your host tonight. My name is Pete. Welcome back. Always with us is our host, Charlie. Hey, Charlie, how you doing today, buddy?
What's happening, Pete?
Nate is with us, too. Hi, Nate.
I'm awake.
Okay,
I'm
all
definitely
right.
awake.
And last but not least, Troy is with us as well. How you doing, Troy?
Hello.
Seems like we just did this, Troy.
I know.
What's going on here?
Deja vu of deja vu.
Anyway,
Troy's done the hat trick now. This is 3 in a row.
this is 3 in a row. Yeah, and we recorded last night too, so this is a little weird.
I ain't worried about that.
This is still the month of Pete's picks all month long, all the weird, all the wacky, all the wild, here for you for your listening pleasure and viewing if you want to play along. Tonight's feature presentation from 2002 is Dark Water. This was on the front end of the J horror craze that hit the early 2000s. That included The Ring, The Grudge, things like One Missed Call. Those were the big ones, and Dark Water has been one of those that is pretty well regarded in that genre, as these came out and hit the United States pretty hard when horror was. It lacked in the United States at that time. You had things like Scream and like Candyman, but there wasn't a lot of very good horror coming out of Hollywood. It was a lot of the cookie cutter slashers, if they even had them. So there it is. It's Dark Water.
Okay. Let's say 90s horror's hit or miss, definitely. For
Yes.
every Dark Water, even though this is 2002, you have a Wishmaster, which is, pretty
sadly
awesome.
overlooked.
Yeah, you two overlooked that for way too long.
We did. I will fully admit that.
Yeah, that's on us. That really was our fault.
Yeah, I
So-
still haven't got my wish, but
The director Nakata Hideo also did the first Ring, actually the first 2 Ring movies. So he's got quite a bit of street cred in the J horror community. And I think this movie is just beautifully shot. It's gorgeous. It's gross. It's wet, very, very wet, and not in a kinky way. It's just so very moist.
Hey, we're not here to king shame. Maybe
Yes,
this
all
is
right. We don't
that's
keep
what you
shame
like.
around here.
Yeah. I mean, it's totally fine. But
I saw this for the first time a couple of years ago, 2-3 years ago, and fell in love with it. It's sitting on my shelf of some of my favorite J horror stuff, but legit, like serious stuff, not what is it, Dead Sushi or One Cut of the Dead or Why Don't You Play in Hell, things like that. Those are silly and fun.
You have those too. They're just on
yeah.
another shelf, right?
Right? Yeah,
Yeah.
they're separate. They don't play well
Yeah.
together.
heaven forbid we get to see any of those. That's
It's
totally
coming.
fine.
It's
No,
coming.
Is it? Yeah, month's
But
almost over.
this touched on a lot of sensitive material. I think the horror is 3 or 4 levels deep in this movie, and I do believe it's horror. It's just it's a scary movie. I don't say it's going to scare you, but as the subject matter comes up and what this person is going through, it is horrific what's happening to this woman on many levels, personally and supernaturally. But I was very fortunate to sit down with Troy and our buddy James. The 3 of us checked it out. Nate pieced out on this one. So
Hey,
Troy,
I had a bit of a chaotic weekend. All right.
all right.
Yeah, you look
all
like you
right.
could use a nap right now, there, Nate.
I probably could. I promise Pete and Charlie. Well, and Troy, because you're in the text thread as well. You just never respond, you
Right.
dick.
Ouch.
That I had maybe 2 sentences worth of material for this, and then I was probably gonna promptly nap after that. So,
Mm-mm.
That's 2 sentences.
Yeah.
yep.
If I remember right, Nate,
It's,
this was on your short list, so I was excited for you to watch this, and you were like, "Oh, I'm excited to see this."
I
Now-
yeah, definitely
getting
was
this.
excited to see this. Was is a key word there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay,
Because you saw it in the past, and now it's done, so now you've seen
Yeah.
it, and now you
Yeah,
can be excited about
exactly. And now
about
I can be excited
having
for
experienced
other
it.
movies, and that March is right around the corner.
Well, I have good news.
Yes. Yes. Sir.
I found a trailer, so I can
Okay.
get everyone in the mood.
You found it. Well, okay.
I found a
What?
trailer.
All right,
Why
he
is everyone
found
looking
a
at me?
trailer for a Pete movie. This is a big deal.
This might
Pete,
be
you're not
important.
giving
Wow.
him enough credit for what he went out and did for you.
Your efforts are noted, sir. You.
Thank you. So
It doesn't
this
feel
is-
like it.
We're gonna, yeah, right. Like, geez, I
Dick.
don't think.
Ouch.
So, all right, okay. Well, I'm just gonna play the trailer, get everybody in the mood, get us all hyped for this movie that is the Pete pick, and we'll be right back after this trailer.
Wait a minute. I know this.
The alien world of Myrrh is being devoured by dark water.
Wait a minute.
Only Ren, a young prince, can stop it.
Yeah.
Finding the lost
Dark waters.
treasures
Plural,
of Myrrh.
not dark water.
Well, that's the problem. Plurals is way cooler. You had an S thing, and that
not
means
gonna
dollar
argue.
signs.
But loyal
Dark
crew
water.
of misfits.
It's Pirates of Dark Water.
Yeah.
Evil pirate Lord Blood, who will stop at nothing
There was
to get
pirates
the
in this
treasures
movie.
for himself.
There was 0 pirates in this movie.
This is true.
There's pirates in the plural version. Way cooler. And none of that Pirates of the Caribbean where you get to the 3rd one, you just get angry as it keeps
Adventure
going.
with The pirates of
We're gonna
dark
talk about the
water.
fourth one.
Or the 5th one.
Is it the fifth one? Oh shit.
I think they just called it Jack Sparrow at that point. They knew what they were doing.
I'm sorry, I had a blast watching this movie with Pirates of Dark Water. I'm so glad you picked this one.
Yeah, what's
man,
Pirates of
I-
Darkwater streaming on right now?
It's really
I
different
think
from a
it's-
normal Pete pick, wasn't
I think
it?
it's straight up on
Mhm.
YouTube right now. Yeah, I mean, he went straight Saturday morning cartoon, and I was like, man, he brought it.
Damn it.
Yeah, he
I mean,
really
it-
brought it
it-
hard. The
I'm gonna
animation for
say-
it this time? Oh, awesome.
It's not horror, Pete. Once again, fail.
Yeah, I
But,
don't know
you know.
why you cannot figure this out. Wrong anime
I
too
know
to
that-
bring
gonna
to
drink
it.
tonight, but I might drink. Damn it.
I know the Dark Water kind of has a blob-esque kind of feel to it, you know, a
Mhm.
little creep show on the raft type feel. But, you know, no, this was a very exciting TV show. It was like reliving my childhood. I had a blast with it. Thanks, Pete.
I'm
The-
glad I could contribute to your childhood.
It's $16 for the whole first season. Well, the only season.
The one.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's season 2. There was a season 2. I don't remember that. All right, that was on sale. It's $12.49. It was originally $13.99.
Oh,
Were we supposed to watch season 2 as well? I didn't.
Well,
I'm
Pete
not.
didn't, classic Pete doesn't give us all the instructions.
Guess I didn't
Yeah.
get prepared for this.
Damn
multi-tier
it, Troy. Were they
movies
talking to
he
you
has
behind my
picked.
back and no one watched this movie with me?
Season 2 only has 8 episodes. That's a bummer.
Yeah, that sounds like it was canceled halfway through.
It
That
was.
was, yeah.
It was.
Uh,
I watched those live. It was.
Yeah, sadly.
No, that's best. No, there's no trailer for this flipping movie. There's an Americanized, there's an American version of this movie that I
Yes.
almost played.
Much like all the other big J-horror hits that came out, it got an American remake that hit the States first. I think both The Ring and The Grudge got remakes that were released in the United States before their Japanese counterpart. And
I
then,
that's
remember
usually
that.
what would be the launch pad because, like,
yeah,
after The Ring came out, that's when Ringu became like available on DVD here stateside. Because it was like you've seen the scariest movie ever made. Now see the
now see
one
the
that
original.
inspired it all.
yeah. And there's no way you could have released The Grudge in the United States and not had a riot on your hands. That story is told. It's told like Pulp Fiction, only 1,000 times worse. So it's told out of order.
Yeah.
You almost have to write it down to figure out who is this
never
person?
seen Ju-On.
When was that? It's a tough first watch, but the second watch is really, really good because you get into the rhythm. Okay, that's where this is coming from.
Instead,
now I remember this, but I knew you two would be really upset if I gave you The Grudge, and you come back and say, what the fuck happened in this thing? They didn't even tell it in order. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, I like the American Grudge, and like I love the American The Ring. Like,
yeah,
the Ring's a really good movie.
The Japanese one is even better. I promise. It's quite good. But
I honestly have yet to see Ringu. Like,
yeah,
it's quite slipped past me.
Quite good. This is one of my favorites. I like how slow and methodical it is. It really just takes its time. And on top of all of it, the acting is so marvelous.
Charlie really agrees with that point.
They were amazing. They sold every little bit of this.
Oh yeah.
She was in a bad spot financially with her marriage, with her kid, and then on top of all of that, there's a ghost fucking around with her. Her world is melting around her, and she just sold it. You could feel her despair through this whole film. Troy, I think you had a similar experience.
Yeah, no, I did feel this movie is creepy. It's more feel, it's more mood than it is. There's nothing jumping out and scaring you, but like the dumb red. I said like only Japan can make a kid's red backpack seem creepy. Had like Hello Kitty on it. It's like, oh my god, Hello Kitty backpack's back. Shit.
Not the Hello Kitty again.
Not the Hello Kitty.
Man, this is hard for me because like I didn't like this movie, but I didn't dislike. I didn't hate it. It left me going like, is that it? Like by the end of it, God, I've been really struggling with this today on like thinking about how to approach this because like I believe that the child actress was good. I didn't really care for the mom. I didn't think she was that great at all.
God.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then like,
was she a little whiny for you? Maybe.
She just didn't seem to really like sell what she was going through for me.
Yeah.
But then like
on that, yeah.
To add in like the ghost feels more like an afterthought. Like
it is.
We were talking about the movie after it ended because when it ended, I was like, "That's it." Like we do a time jump and then that's it. And I was like, "That's kind of lame." And then like also with it being anticlimactic, it was just like, "Oh, the ghost. This isn't a horror movie. This is a horror story." But even then, like, I feel like I've seen this type of story be done better. I guess I don't know, something about like a parent going through a divorce and like she had been out of the psych ward before because of what her job had pushed her to, and that she can't just be a good mom because she's trying to get a job and get her life together. It felt like half a movie. I felt like there was only half a script here, and that I was missing the dramatic parts. And when it was over, I looked at Fawn. I was like, man, like the way this movie ended, I would rather see the movie be about teenage little girl and her reflecting on her mom losing it and dealing with the ghost haunting her. And instead, I got a ghost that holds a mom's hand and only has one effective jump scare. But other than that, a lot of it was just like me just watching a person living their life with a water stain and a shitty landlord that is just being what a typical landlord does, going, I'll fix it tomorrow.
Well, that's stage one of the horror. I mean, she's going through a terrible divorce. Her ex is an awful person.
But we don't know that.
Is he?
Because, like,
no, he's not.
Yeah, like,
not.
He tells her that, like, hey, be there for our kid. Like, if she can't be. He is trying to get full custody because I don't think the mom is suitable for a mom. And, like, we don't see him necessarily do anything bad. Like,
he just tells that is ambiguous. They never show that he was actually spying on them. They never show that that's where he was getting information from. But he is not malicious at all, especially when he goes and picks
Even
up
when
a
he's
little
with the
girl.
lawyer, like it's not like he's
Yeah.
like, you stupid bitch, or you're so fucking terrible at being a mom. Fuck you. Like,
No, he acts
they
like he's
fight.
just over it. She
Yeah.
loses her shit. She is unstable. Anybody could see that and go, yeah, maybe not fully lose custody, but you need to get on your feet for a little bit. And obviously your husband, has a home and a job. Let the girl stay with him for a little while till you get going, and then we'll revisit the custody. That's how I looked at this. I gotta say, I was bored out of my ever-loving mind during this
It's
movie.
very slow.
Very slow
It's-
is not even an accurate way to go. There is, other than what you're witnessing with her, there's nothing going on. And what sucks is if you are not paying attention to every little word that is spoken in this movie, you have no idea what's going on as far as the spirit and what happened to the family ahead of time. We get most of our exposition from the principal of the kindergarten.
Yep.
Like there's almost no one knows anything
well,
until we talk to him.
no one knows anything, but also it's super predictable.
Oh, I was predicting this movie.
Like
Ask
the moment
Jackie
that
watched
it
it,
showed the water tank. So the little girl fell into it, drowned, and now her spirit is just haunting this
that
building.
that strand of hair in that first glass of water she gets.
As soon as they did that,
I was like, she's in the water tank. Now,
Yeah.
what I will say is, once I figured that out fairly quickly, I had hope that there was something else about that. Like, it got to a point where I'm like, oh shit, is the mom in there with her? Did the dad kill the mom and the little
I started to wonder,
girl?
did a maintenance person kill
Yeah.
her?
Was she
No.
she attacked?
No, not at all. Like there's
She falls in, which then pisses me off the rest of the movie going, why is this little girl haunting this woman? Why?
She wants mom. She wants some comfort.
She wants her mom, but she's literally tearing the mom away from the live daughter. It's causing stress for her to even do what the dead little girl's mom couldn't. And all we find out about the dead little mom is one day she didn't show up to pick her up from school. That's all we hear. Like, I wanted this whole thing like going, because we hear about the dad stayed in the apartment for like another couple of months because he's like, I wanted to be home in case she came home. But that would have worked perfectly to set him up to where he actually killed the wife and the little girl. You could have added so much to this little backstory that not so much the living mom was figuring out, but the audience could have put together going, oh, that's why the little girl's haunting her. Or not even let the little girl haunt them. Let the dead mom see the faults that this mom is making and is trying to force her to change her ways and be there for her daughter in some way. This whole storyline, and I don't know if it's cultural or what it is, missed on me. Like, as far as I can tell watching this movie, Japan hates divorce because they treat this woman less than second class.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, that was the other thing. Like, you could definitely feel that she was getting treated like shit on just because she's a woman.
By
she's
everyone around her.
a divorced
everyone
woman.
around her. Yeah, exactly.
So,
it's like
you already
she
got to
was
deal with a
bringing
woman. Yeah.
shame to like
She's
the
being
family.
shamed. They don't
But
believe her that there's water coming in through her ceiling. They don't believe her. They brush her off.
Well, they have to believe her because the dumbass saw it and pushed her into the kitchen so she didn't see the stain.
Right. So they're hiding it from her.
They're hiding it. And then the other thing that was pissing me off, and I get it, it's story armor, whatever, is there's no one in this fucking building. Hey, I got a leak in my apartment. I am filling up buckets. Maybe you don't want to fix it, but can I move to a different apartment? Because there's only those two old ladies and the dog that we ever see that lives there, except for the maintenance dude.
But it's not a woman's place to complain to.
But she does.
She tries to, and then she's no, it's okay, sweetie. It'll be all right. And she's just completely blown off. that's part of this horror, is that she is completely helpless
You
in
keep
this
using that
situation.
word,
Even if
and
she's right, she's
yeah, I don't
helpless.
think it was
this.
horror though.
She's absolutely helpless. No one wants to help her. And then
Well,
she
she's
gets,
helpless, but
then
I'm
she-
saying horror. Like I don't get.
And
This
like,
is a
that's
horror
horrible
movie.
to live in that situation that no one will listen to you.
Horrible, but not horror. You know what I mean? It's there is a point where there's no horror in this movie. Like I had zero dread watching this. I was more
there
annoyed.
wasn't a moment like of like tension for me. Like this
zero
felt
tension.
very dry for a movie about water. Yeah, like I
mean,
wasn't.
That's good there. I like that.
No, that's actually a
there
really
was-
good way to say it right there.
Like in the elevator, and a little girl holds the mom's hand, and then it turns out isn't her girl. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, let's see where this goes. And like, as it went on, I was like, I just don't really care. That's all I can point it up to, is like, there was just no meat on the bones here for me to cling on to, and I felt like I was only getting half the story.
I'm
and that
getting
was
mad
really
at the
bothering
mom.
me.
There was a point I'm mad at the mom because why are you at a job interview that has taken you 8 hours for the day? Like, she is preparing for the job interview. She drops her kid off at kindergarten. Then we're at the job interview and it's time to pick up the kid. What have you been doing all day? Like, this is the only job interview you've talked about.
She's been
You
sitting
go
in that
there.
office all day because no one will listen to her.
Well, apparently, but then we're sitting there with it, and all I'm doing is I'm getting annoyed. My favorite character in this entire movie is her lawyer. Even though I'm like, where the fuck did this guy come from? He shows up in the hallway.
They meet up in the hallway, yeah, and they.
But
I don't think she had a lawyer to begin with, because they were
no,
sitting
she
there with
didn't.
the judges. Neither of them had.
So they were
lawyers to begin
doing
with.
mediation, and you
Yeah.
can choose whether or not you need a lawyer. And then he ups the stakes because she's losing her shit. He already had to go rescue his daughter from, it was nighttime, and he's trying to take her back home. So he got a lawyer. Smart. I probably would have done it.
Yep.
And then she's breaking down in front of everyone, and this guy comes out of the office, but then all of a sudden he's representing her. And I'm like, one, I don't think she had any money. Two, you already know she's probably on the losing end of everything. But I liked his character. He got shit done. He got them to come in and revamp the apartment. He believed her about the upstairs apartment. Best scene in the movie is her walking into that flooded apartment upstairs when she's looking for her daughter. Hands down, loved that whole scene. When she opens that door and it's like 4 inches of water and she's walking through it, and then her daughter is just standing there in that one bedroom drenched. I was like, this is what I was hoping to get from this whole movie. And it's one passing scene. And then they go upstairs, they see there was water. This guy is, like, call me, let me know what's going on. For a moment, I'm like, is this dude trying to hook up with her? There's no talk of compensation. It's like he's doing it pro bono almost. But I liked him out of all of it. And then I don't get anything from him. This woman, it's like it's this descent of a woman stuck in her ways. She's a little lost, but she is refusing to listen to reason from anyone. And I don't blame the ghost for it. Like, all it is is
the
water.
ghost just happens to be there. Like,
yeah.
I feel like you could have done, and maybe this sounds stupid and it's typical, but like you could have done a Descent into Madness or something, and not a ghost story.
Something. Yeah.
I don't know. For some reason, it reminded me of the Del Toro movie, The Devil's Backbone, but like, I adore that movie. I think it's a brilliant ghost story. And this one, was trying not to compare the two because I was wanting to judge this on its own merits. And I'm like, man, this movie's well made. It's slow, but it's not bothering me. But I was like, what's bothering me is that there's just no story here for me to like really cling on to, and that was really like the struggle for me. Where I was like, the mom attempts to move out, but then does not.
The lawyer stops it because it looks bad.
Yeah,
to rent a place, then leave,
relocate her to a new
that
kindergarten.
makes sense. But that's where I brought in my thought of move her to a different apartment in the building. Like, if there's physically a problem, just move her,
Because
because
then that could have been cool that another room starts to flood. Well,
Go
you
ahead.
were on level 3, but now you're on level 2, and yet you're still dealing with this
and
It's following
flood.
you.
That's cool.
Yeah, but I understand that the apartment is right above her. So, but the ghost doesn't have a connection to this woman and child until she walks into this building. So it's like you're supposed to believe like there's some kind of manifestation that is drawn to her, because it follows them outside of the building later in the movie, but there's no connection that I can latch onto. Kind of like The Ring, and I know this is the same director. I was thinking on this today, and what I felt like was this movie is like all the last little ideas he had for The Ring, but he couldn't get it in that movie. So he thought he had enough for another movie and keep it just as creepy. But all I'm doing is I'm like, there's nothing here. I see a little element of The Ring. I see a little element of, J-horror and the spiritual stuff, but there's nothing cohesive for me. And I don't think it's a cultural thing. I just feel like it's just nothing. None of it felt creepy. And I went into this, like, me and Jackie were like, lights out. This is a J-horror.
As soon as like the ghost hand happened, I was like, all right, I'm turned down all the lights now. We have just a candle going. The light is at 1%.
Yeah.
Like, I got it.
Jackie saw the
mood
elevator
set.
scene, and she was like, oh, okay, I like that. Honestly, by about 30, 40 minutes in, I'm Mystery Science Theater 3000 this movie.
Okay.
I am making jokes.
Yeah, I was about 40 minutes in. I was starting to doze off, and Fawn's like, you need to sit up. You're falling asleep.
It's all I could do to keep us entertained. Like, Jackie's like, where's the horror?
So what I'm curious about is Troy mentioned that the red bag being creepy. Like, explain, sir. Like, man, I like this is one where I don't feel like attacking Pete on, because I'm not.
I think this just didn't.
I'm not enraged like I was last week.
I mean,
like I was last year.
I kind of hear what you're saying. I mean, some of this is true, but the difference being, I was totally engaged with the story the whole time. I was into it, like, and there's a lot of not knowing what's around the next corner, not knowing what's going to happen next in this thing that had me just kind of, I felt a little bit off key the whole movie. Like, there's a lot of, I mean, like the dripping water everywhere is constant, and it's always there, and it's obviously something's going on. You don't know why it's there. The stupid little girl keeps running off, and she's losing her over and over. I'm like, Ikuku, stay in your goddamn room for a second.
Get that kid an Apple Tag.
Yeah. Exactly.
Well, I kept yelling at
leashes.
the mom, quit going downstairs. She went upstairs. Like, after the first time and you found her on the roof, go upstairs first. She kept running downstairs.
Why is the roof so easily accessible for all the tenants? Why? That seems like a problem.
It's a really rundown building. I mean,
it was, and I don't discredit that at all. I understood what they were going for. It just, and I'm gonna resonate just what Nate said a second ago. I am not mad about this movie whatsoever. I wish I liked it more.
I know, like I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm not even disappointed.
I'm real good at disappointing.
Well, but what I want, once Nate and I get our stuff out here, I really want to know what drew Pete to this movie. And I'm kind of because what Troy just said, I guess, works for some people, but honestly, this movie was just so predictable. And I'm not a huge ghost movie guy. Like, I watch them. They're really not my thing. I don't really give a shit about Paranormal Activity or, The Conjuring.
I like ghost movies. There just wasn't enough ghost in this.
There was not a lot of ghosts in this.
There's really not. Like, and they kept doing this thing where she didn't have eyes, but that had nothing. Like, if you drown, your eyeballs don't like skin over. If you wanted that,
she looked wet. She looked moist. She looked melted.
Well, she looked melted, but like, she has no eyes. They kept showing that even on the picture she found, the eyes are gone,
which I thought was a cool visual.
A cool visual with no payoff. What I would have rather is to find out that the girl was blind or something. And because the mom that wasn't there to pick her up, she tried to make her way home and, got discombobulated. Also, there's a little girl walking the streets behind maintenance dudes going up onto the roof and fall into an open water tower. That was a lot of shit I gotta believe can happen legitimately. And I'm just like, wow, she just fell in. Like, no one pushed her. She wasn't attacked by one of the maintenance people, which is immediately what I thought when I saw him. I'm like, oh, maybe this is what's going to wrong the little girl to make her want to take revenge on someone. And I'm pretty sure, you correct me if I'm wrong, Pete, a lot of J horror and a lot of other horror that's not Americanized, they're not as worried about the good guy winning at the end.
No.
Right?
No.
There's a lot of downer kind of endings.
The tragedies versus heroic ending.
Right. And
a lot of that.
I was really trying to keep that out of my mind. I was like, I know what I'm watching. I've seen some of these movies that are similar. And it got to the point where the mom sacrificed herself, but it didn't feel like a sacrifice. It didn't feel like she was saving her daughter. It felt like she was abandoning her daughter. And the ghost was latching on to whatever it could find. Like that whole scene in the elevator, like they couldn't even, they're showing it grabbing her throat like it's trying to attack her, and I'm like, I'm not buying it.
I didn't understand even the throat thing. I was like, is she just like massaging her?
I made that joke. I went, oh, it's a little girl masseuse. She really gets into those tight.
Just get into it, and
no happy endings, please.
Yeah.
No.
Movie. There's not in this movie, but I just, and then I'm with Nate. It time jumps that really caught me off guard. I'm like, the fuck happened?
Yeah.
And then they don't find the body. They never give this thing of, oh shit, we found the little girl's body. It was in the water tower. Like something. It just, I have to live with her now. Oh, and it ends. Like it ends on a down note, but it just ends with no rhyme or reason.
Even having the daughter go from 6 to 16 with the time jump at the end, and she has friends. She sees another girl that is waiting on her mom to pick her up from her old kindergarten, and that inspires her. Like, oh, I'm gonna go check out the old apartment building.
On that scene. I was digging on that. She's watching the little girl. She relived her childhood for a moment.
Yeah. But I was also at the same time, I was like, really? We're going with the ghost is giving the mom a neck massage to now we're going to time hop. And I guess she killed the mom, or the mom got into the thing and drowned as well.
The mom is now part of the apartment. The mom was protecting her daughter from both the ghost and herself. That's why she decided to become part of whatever this apartment thing is.
And that's why she was screaming in that elevator,
yes.
Don't you dare come closer.
Mm-hmm. So that
she would have been sucked into it too.
Her final sacrifice, she realized that she was a hot mess. And the only way to protect her, truly protect her daughter, was to allow the ghost to take her in or embrace her. Say whatever you want to.
Take her.
To take her as a surrogate mother for this ghost child. And J horror is famously, we don't explain nothing.
I got that.
There's no reason for some of this. It just happens. The Grudge is just a haunted house, and if you happen to step inside, you're fucked. You're totally screwed.
Cool with that.
There's no reason for it. You're just hurt.
You're not though. I mean, like, because this is all about feel. This isn't about like. There's no the explanation of why it's being haunted is not the important part of this. It's more about just there's this sense of dread. There's these little flashes. You get this sense of something creeping up behind you, especially that stupid elevator, and the wet, the dripping. It's a sense of rot.
The little girl that
just
died,
the little hairs that show up in the water.
Yeah,
it's just gross. And you off.
Much like Nate's toilet the other week, the bathtub fills up with all sorts of little particulates, and spills over.
Oh,
Did that look familiar, Nate?
Oh, it
That-
looks very
the
familiar.
bathtub
Hell,
scene.
it's happening in the sink now too. I'm like, God, I just cannot get away from.
No wonder it didn't scare you. You're
Claudia
living it.
That's
plumbing.
right.
Yeah.
It's scary. It didn't gross
Hey,
you out.
I'm-
Like, oh,
I
it's
do
a Tuesday.
remodeling. I'm more mad at the maintenance guy going, come on, get off your ass and go
Yeah,
do
exactly.
Oh, he's
That's what
terrible.
I'm mad at is the maintenance guy than the property manager not coming to visit.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I guess Troy, I get it, and I guess if this is a movie that really kind of resonated with you and gave you those feels, but I never experienced it.
Yeah,
I never
same.
felt
If anything,
dread.
I'm with Charlie where it just feels like fragments of a different
Ideas.
script that were
Yeah.
like, well, maybe I can get something out of this. Like it reminded me of that woman that did pass away in the same exact situation.
It was
that
in
Netflix had
California,
a
Los
documentary.
Angeles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Okay, am I the only
El-
person that
Eliza
didn't know
Lamb.
about this? Jackie was
Ellie-
all about.
Oh,
Ellie
dude.
Lamb, Eli
Yeah.
Lamb. What was her name?
It's Elisa Lamb.
Elisa Lamb. Yeah, it
So-
was terrible.
It turns out it's not as creepy as we all thought it was. She had undiagnosed bipolar disease, if I remember correctly,
Mhm.
Right.
and basically was going through
An attack, a manic
an
attack.
attack. Yeah. So, but there was a elevator video of her just kind of like in a trance, and then she mysteriously disappeared, and it was fucking creepy. Like the video
Yeah.
is still very haunting.
Oh,
But it
like,
turns
Jackie
out
was
she
all
just
about telling me that.
yeah,
Mhm.
she just
Yeah.
happened to find her way into the water tank as well. And it was one of those like, wow, like this happened in 2013. This
Something
movie
like-
takes
yeah,
place in
2013.
And they
in
only
2002.
They only found out because the tenants were complaining that the water
The water
tasted bad.
tasted
Exactly.
funny, and there was water pressure problems.
So people
So
were
someone took a look at
drinking her,
Yeah,
which is
exactly.
gross.
This little girl's been in that water tank for 6 months.
years. Oh, six,
Mhm.
It
Yeah.
was only months. It was only
Mm.
6
is it
months.
that short? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, because they still had posters out looking for her.
They
Yeah.
were looking
you're
for
right,
her.
you're
And I
right.
like that the posters didn't have her eyes either. Like,
I
you
mean,
know,
I got that. It added a little thing. I did
add
like
a little
that all
mystery to her.
I liked all the kids' drawings in the kindergarten. They
Yep,
all
I
had
like
the red
that.
bag. I was like, I dig that. There were elements that Pete, truly, I was like, come on, pull this together here. Got about halfway in. I'm like, okay, we're halfway. Maybe they're just setting up this nice slow thing. I was like, come on, hit me with something. Give me a reason why
All right.
Pete picked this one for us.
Yeah,
It
like and
just
just the tension was never there for me. That's
Never.
why, like, with what Troy's saying, it's really blowing my mind because, like, that I didn't get that, and I don't even feel the need to watch this again because, like,
oh no, I
don't
there's
think it
nothing. There's nothing hidden.
I don't. Yeah, I
Like-
don't think we missed anything. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. There's no that again. Maybe if there was that tiny subplot about why the little girl was reaching out for someone, maybe with the family, give me a reason why did the mom not show up that one time that she did go up and
It's-
fall in?
Troy
Like-
nailed it. It's not important.
Not important to some people, but it is to
It's-
me. Like,
It's
When it's-
important
when
to
it's-
Americans, probably. That's
but I mean, when
they-
it's this slow for me, it's like I need something
need
to
something to
keep
grab
me
to.
engaged.
Well, it's the fact that I don't have any story to the little kid. No, where like that's why I felt like when the movie ended with teenage girl, I went, all right, I would much rather follow a movie of a teenage girl wondering what happened to her mom and trying to investigate what happened to her mom and then dealing with the haunting
Have
of
that
this building.
happen at the middle of the movie. Have condense what happened for the entire movie up front because I'm
Just
God. There was
felt
a
like
ton
they
to cut
didn't
out.
have an ending to me.
I don't think they did. I don't think there was an
Like,
ending that they
clearly
were
haven't
happy
watched a lot
with.
of J horror.
I
Endings are
honestly-
always weird.
I honestly haven't. I mean, I've watched some Americanized ones. I've watched maybe one or two traditional J horror. I know enough to know that okay, there's not happy endings. I know enough that there's a lot of subtext.
But
which I
even
get,
then, like Korean horror does far superior in
That's
ways
totally
with its
different
themes and-
culture, though. I mean, that's just
yeah, like
that-
but when we're talking about like a foreign land and what it brings to horror, like Korean horror knocks it out of the park every single time. And J horror could be like your cell phone is haunted. It's like, oh, okay. Like, I'll just put
Well,
it in the drawer then. Or your apartment complex has hair in it. Okay, I'll just, not drink the water, and I guess I'll have bottled water or canned water or
I mean, there was
bread in a can.
times I was hoping like the water stain was slowly going to be like the stain of a body above her. It literally got to the point of why is your bed there? Why are you asleep and this water is falling on your head and you are literally soaked to the bone and you didn't wake up? I couldn't. We're dudes. I just couldn't connect with the woman, but she got
Well, it was also
fairly
like there was
annoying with me.
nothing sinister afoot, If
I
anything, this
never felt
haunting felt like
sinister.
the most inconvenience that you could have. But even then, it's like if the ghost were to like misplace your car keys and you were 5 minutes late.
It only got sinister when she went up onto the roof and then it tried to drown the little girl. But then she walks in and the little girl's not drowned. She's laying on the floor. It's like, is the ghost trying to kill the little girl? Is the ghost trying to get someone to find her to put her at rest? Is the little girl baiting the mom? Because if you're baiting the mom, you're doing it wrong. Bait the mom with the little girl. And the mom goes, I will never leave your side. I will never leave you again. And she does
leaves.
it immediately. Leaves.
Like right out the gate. We're like what Pete and Troy were talking about earlier of like, oh, well, like, her sacrificing herself to protect her daughter. And it's like, or maybe just like let the dad have custody, I guess. I don't know. That's
what I was going to say too.
You don't have to let ghost person kill you. You just be like, all right, maybe you can have custody for a bit. Let me get myself together and I move out of this building. I don't know. I just feel like there was better ways to approach it. Well,
I don't
pretty
think
shitty movie, but
that's called life, dude.
Well, all I'm saying is if I'm able to solve your problems that easily, maybe you should have added a little bit different incorporations to your movie, because all that leaves for your movie is me going, this is really not that big of a deal.
That new Friday the 13th movie, they're like, oh, something weird's happening. Let's go to the Motel 6 up the street.
We should leave this place.
We're done.
Well, then at the Motel 6, though, there's a bunch of sex perverts that are recording every your move. So now we're back in, baby. Now you went from mass killer to sex perverts. So there's definitely ways to do this.
You're doing those new movies where they solve the entire thing and then it immediately goes to the credits, directed by George Lucas.
Yes.
Just in like 10 seconds. Pete, that popped me. That was he's like, there's no fucking movie if we did it your way.
Right.
And you're not wrong, but this one just felt like
there wasn't much of a movie either.
I was going to make that point. It just felt like we're making a movie to make a movie. Like, you peaked at The Ring and then you followed up with this. And honestly, afterwards I was reading some of the reviews and I was like, what did I miss? What did I actually miss? And I was reading their reviews going, it's just like what Troy was saying. I didn't get anything you're saying. Like, and honestly, it was, we started watching this about 9:30. It was about 11. Jackie and I were not tired whatsoever. We watched Belko Experiment, which is an insane fucking movie. Just to have some kind of, well, that was a movie we got to watch tonight. That was awesome.
You need to pick me up.
Yeah, because I wasn't depressed because of the movie. I was just like, that's it. Like that's all.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like, I wanted some sort of like, if it was going to be like this, like, I wanted some sort of sad emotional turmoil or something that I felt, and that's where I went back to The Devil's Backbone, and I was like, God, like. This just is not a ghost story that resonates with me. Like, I feel like a broken record at this point. That's why I said I was only going to have 2 sentences for the whole recording.
Well, I'll tell you, let's do this. We need to hit a commercial, but I want to come back and I want Pete and Troy to expound without me and you jumping in on our shenanigans here. Although we haven't changed the subject once. I think we're doing really good.
Yeah, you should be proud of us, Pete. Not once have we tried to talk about real horror movies. Not once.
He ruined it right there. Way to go, Nate. All right, commercial.
Don't go away. It could be a grave mistake.
Sharks of the corn? Virus shark? Cocaine shark? Sharktopus? Yeah, those are all real movies. Join me, Steve Coates, as each week I take a comedic look at the bizarre world of sharksploitation cinema on Bucket of Chum, the Shark Movie Podcast.
Do you like horror movies?
Do you like hanging out with your buddy?
Do you like cracking jokes and having a good time?
Do you just like fun?
Well, consider checking out Spoils of Horror. We are an hour-long podcast that comes out every single week.
We're not doing reviews. We're just going to hang out, talk about the movies we love with each other, and hopefully the ones you love too.
Covering everything from the popular, the lost, the forgotten, and the bizarre.
If you're looking for a good podcast and a good time, you're going to want to check us out.
We're on all major podcasting platforms, and you can find us on Instagram and Twitter.
Check it out. We'll see you there.
Don't let the commercials bug you. We're back.
Man, the Wreck one's got a 2.6 on IMDb.
That's high. That's high. Yes, we were talking about shark movies during that commercial break, everybody, because we were like, you know what this movie needed? Sharks. Sharks in dark water. Sharks in dark
sharks
water.
in the water tank on the roof, and they ate the little girl.
Yeah,
I'd have been in.
turns out she
I'd have been
had a
in.
baby shark. And then she
Oh God!
flushed
Don't do
it.
that in my head.
She flushed it down a toilet, and then it went up to the fourth floor due to some bad clogging of the drains. And then that shark came out and ate someone's butthole out, and that's what killed someone. And now that little girl and the ghost shark have to go around solving crimes in the apartment complex.
That does sound like an amazing movie.
I'd watch
Right?
it.
I
I'd
just
watch it
came
in a
up with that
heartbeat.
off the top of my head. That's see, dark water people, get a hold of me.
Patent
Ghost
pending,
girl and
patent
ghost
pending.
shark.
Yeah,
All
Pat
right,
Penny,
so-
Pat Penny,
TM,
trademark.
TM.
So Nate and I have kind of, we're kind of shitting on the movie, but we're trying to be as
This is the
understanding.
least energetic I think we have ever been.
Well, after last week, I really wanted to try and be like, I tried, Pete. I really, really tried.
I was excited.
really
The
did.
Arrow cover artwork is
The fact that
gorgeous.
Arrow redid it. I was like, this has to be something. This has to be something. But Nate and I are going to shut up for a little bit. I want Pete and Troy to give their argument for the movie without interruptions. Nate, you gotta let him go.
I'm
We gotta let him
I'm
go.
gonna look at shark movies while he talks. No, I'm
Oh.
not. I'm gonna pay attention while he
No,
talks.
you have to listen. You have to listen. So, gentlemen, the floor is yours. Pete, this is your pick.
We haven't heard much from Troy. I gave my 2 cents at the very beginning. What do you have anything to add, Troy? I mean,
I mean, I will give you this, that there's not, I was trying to think of like, well, there's this part and there's this part. I'm like, well, there isn't a lot. I mean, there's the bag, the little red bag. It was creepy at first. After a while, they kept finding it. And I'm like, okay, the red bags come back. I got that. But there was one point when I literally did only Japan can make a red child's bag ominous, which when it first started showing up, I was finding that. But it's just it's a feel throughout the whole thing. There's not a lot of music in it. There's clanks and echoes of this dead, empty hallway and this concrete building. It's a lot of just the atmosphere and the sound surrounding them that make it just off. It is. I found it really creepy.
yeah, it's a study in this woman's descent, and I don't want to say into madness, although I'd like to say something about that later. Her struggles and the way she's treated by everyone around her. Say what you will about the husband, but he was being schmarmy. She's getting no help from the either the guy that rented her the apartment or the supervisor of the apartment complex. Even the shit, Troy. What did I say about the lawyer? He came in And the man swoops in to save the day. Oh, look,
Yep.
the apartment above you. Of course, it's all wet because I'm
And
a
he
man
got things.
and I have found this for you. But then he turns right around and says, "Oh, don't worry about this other thing." I forget.
It's because she saw the little girl poke her head out from behind the water the water tank where her
That's
body
what
is
it
actually
was.
drowned, and he's like, those lights over there, they turn on at night, and she's like, yeah. He's like, that's it. Then it's
That was-
just shadows
it was a
moving on the
shadow.
tank.
The highway.
You obviously
and
just
stuff
saw
like
it, and it was
that,
all
Yeah.
it was all
Yeah.
your own in your
So
head.
she thinks she has an ally, and then he turns around immediately and treats her like everyone else has been treating her through the entire film. And the weight of all of this is just so much for her back. And then on top of it, yes, she's seeing a supernatural thing. Something touched her hand. Something is kind of possessing or maybe calling out to her daughter. Something smashed the water tank from the inside. That was a pretty good.
That felt so Kung Fu Hustle
Yeah,
when
a
that
little bit,
happened.
little
I,
bit.
Oh, the
I
CG to it was so
was
bad,
pretty
and it
bad.
did
It was
feel
pretty
like,
bad.
yeah.
I was like, is that her face? Was she doing Kung Fu? She's got the 5-palm pamphlet or whatever
Yeah.
he had. She learned all that in the water tower.
And I thought this actress just, I mean, you guys didn't like her performance, but she sold it for me. She was just a single mom, recently divorced, trying to find a new job. She goes to a job interview, sits there for 8 hours trying to get this interview, gets maybe 5 minutes with the hiring manager, and then is left behind, making her late to pick up her daughter. She calls her husband to pick her daughter up, and he doesn't immediately. He goes a lot later, and she finds them walking at home at night. So he wasn't the hero in this moment. He took his sweet ass time to get there.
I'll give you that. I'll agree with that. He didn't want to answer her phone call probably because he's over her shit. I think what Nate and I were more leaning towards is we're not given enough to, like, we don't feel like he has a mistress. We don't feel like he, is doing anything other than what someone who
I
has
don't
just
even
fallen
feel
out
like
of
everything is
love
against
with
her either. If I would have seen more of those two dynamics, like him and her against one
The
another,
divorce doesn't matter. The divorce, the story is about her. The story is about the mom trying to deal with all of these outside pressures and her succumbing to these pressures on top of having a ghost tempt her or scare her
just
daughter
didn't
enough,
feel like
try
there
to
was
kill her
much
daughter.
weight.
But
What's
the
that?
divorce does matter. The divorce is one of the biggest things weighing on her
Yeah.
in this circumstance.
Like I don't feel like there was much weight
The reason
going
for the
on
divorce
around
doesn't
her.
matter. The divorce itself
the
matters.
reason, but
Everything
I
that was
need to think of him as a shitbag though. Like that's what I really need if I
really
want to
root for
demonize
her,
him.
They did
and I'm
not
not
do a
even
good
really
job
rooting for
making
her.
him the bad guy. They
Because
could have done a better job doing
I
that.
don't know if he was meant to be the bad guy necessarily, but he obviously didn't care. Like they originally started talking about the divorce and how he wanted to try and get custody. She's like, he's never had anything to do with her for the first 8 years of her life. Why does she want him now, or why does he want her now?
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't make it.
Which
that
I
wasn't
believed her.
clarified, but
And then he's just sitting there smoking and not
giving a
paying
shit.
attention to when she's having issue after issue.
I mean,
I didn't
saw
think of
that,
him as like the worst guy ever, but yeah, he's a deadbeat guy. Get rid of him. Move on with your life. And the thing that drove me crazy about the woman, and it's a suspense device. She's the slowest. She reacts to things so slowly, and it was always where something was going on, and she's very slowly leaning towards it to look at what it is. It's like, go check it out, woman. Just go. And
move with some effort.
They're building
like
suspense.
Move with urgency.
Urgency. That's the word I was looking for. There was something that was said in this movie that perked me up. That I was like, oh, this could be interesting. Is when he does the husband busts her out about needing mental help, and she has to explain what happened. She goes, well, I do spell check errors, proofreading. I'm an editor.
I know where you're going, and this is where I wanted to go a little bit.
Yes.
Go ahead.
So she says, I had to read some of the absolute worst things ever written, the filthiest, the nastiest, the most horrible things you could imagine over and over again.
Yeah, she got PTSD from it.
She got PTSD from that. So the reason that keyed in on me, and I haven't seen the movie, but I know A Cut Above just covered it.
I was going to say, I know exactly what you're going at with this because there's a movie that does this way better.
Right. But they didn't even do it in this movie is my problem.
Yeah.
Is this woman, it's called Censor, and she's in charge of censoring what we're allowed to see. And the whole premise of that movie is, why is it okay for one person to see it and not everyone else? And it drives this woman mad. I was hoping there was some layer to this movie of her dealing with the weird and fucked up shit she's experienced reading this shit, that kind of compounds, or the spirit uses that to drive her even further mad and further driving her to an edge that she can't bear it. All she would have to hold on to is her daughter. That is really all she has in this world. She refuses to give it up, and then ripped away from her. But I didn't get that. I didn't get that ending. I got this whole, I'm going to save my daughter by doing this, when all reality it ends up you abandoned your daughter to do this. That's my interpretation of it. But I really wish they'd have dug into her trauma from, because she's pretty specific with these people. They're like, this is, I'm guessing she had to like edit HK or something like that. You know, she was the one that was doing the manga for that comic.
It all makes sense now.
I was really hoping I was not tipping my card too fast when I was laying this out. But no, I mean, that's my joke. But I really was hoping they were going to touch on that throughout the movie.
Let me piggyback on that a little bit. The first time I saw this, when she was talking to the judges or whoever the divorce
mediators.
Thank you, mediator.
Yes.
The second time that they're in there, they're saying, "Hey, you're always late to pick up your daughter," and she's like, "Wait, what do you mean? I'm not always late to pick up my daughter." Oh, and also you dislocated her shoulder. And I think that was up on the roof where she yanked her inside.
I yelled that before we found out it actually happened. I'm like,
but it was
shit, she just yanked her shoulder.
It was never addressed in the movie until that point. So this daughter had been suffering from a dislocated shoulder. It was never even mentioned in the film at all. Now,
see, I didn't believe that. I thought that
I didn't
was
believe it
something
either.
that the father had said that.
I think it turns out that the father was telling fibs, that maybe her shoulder was sore because of that yank and it wasn't actually dislocated. Whereas I thought when I first saw the movie that, well, okay, maybe she did dislocate her shoulder. Then they reveal a little later on in that conversation, when she was young, she was a sleepwalker and would lose time. So she would she was in a mental hospital when she was young, before she was an editor.
Yes.
And for sleepwalking, and then there was times when she wouldn't know what she was doing and she's losing these spaces, these long gaps of time. I was thinking, oh shit, there's no ghost, it's mom doing all this stuff. Mom is the bad guy. Mom is
I would have
doing this
enjoyed
to herself,
that much more.
Yeah,
and doing this to the daughter. Down. And she, I thought eventually there was going to be this big old heel turn where she looks at herself in the mirror and sees herself for the first time or something like that, and then realizes all these memories come flooding back, and she's seeing for the first time what she's been doing to her daughter and to herself this entire time.
Or she's still in the mental hospital or something, just like she
was smoking the cigarette and put it out on the first button. She did that to herself. She's
right.
She's turning the faucet on upstairs above her so that it bothers her. Like, she doesn't know that she's doing it.
She's causing the chaos.
Yeah, that's where I first thought this movie was going.
That would have been amazing.
And then it didn't. So whatever.
That's where I think Nate said it early on, is it felt like they wedged in this ghost. Oh, by the way, there's a ghost in this building.
It's based off a novel. So They might have
All
something to do
right,
with the
so
source
then
material.
that's who we got our problem with.
Hey,
Is this
man.
guy that we got our problem with. Is
Hey,
this
man.
guy that wrote a novel.
I didn't say it
Think you
was
can make me read?
faithful adaptation. I just
Oh, that's the other thing.
think-
I have to read this damn movie, so it's
well, you already got to read the movie. Now you got to read the book on top of the movie.
I think I don't know. I want to say I can see what you guys like about it, but I really don't, because then that would give me something to go, oh, it's just not my thing. I wanted this to be my thing. I wanted to be creeped out. Like so
Same.
hard with
I wanted
movies.
a creepy, just not unsettling, but like just tension driven and where's the ghost at now?
Yeah, I don't
it
get
only
scared during
teased
movies.
that a
Right.
little
Yeah.
bit.
Right.
I'm not scared.
When it
I never
showed
get
the shadow show up on the camera of the elevator, I went, "Oh, that's cool."
Something's happening. Yeah.
well, when
But
the
they
dude
never utilize it.
yeah, the dude actually the maintenance
Yeah,
dude
he
saw
sees it.
too.
And it was
And
just
they
like,
don't,
man, this
they don't build on
idea.
that. Like that's also where, like, why even show that he can see the entity in the elevator, other than just for us because we're watching it through the television camera that we can see that it's going on. And then they keep reusing the same thing. I'm glad they didn't try to make it a jump scare, but they kept reusing the open the door slowly. There's the little girl. Like to the point when she's carrying what she thought was her daughter to the elevator.
Yep.
And when she's carrying the ghost.
Yep.
Jackie's like, really? I was like, she's carrying the ghost. When the door started to open, I was like, here comes her daughter. And that's what happened. And I think that was the other thing was I was figuring it out so fast that there's no way I can have tension because I'm like, that's what's happening now. That's getting ready to happen. When she went back upstairs with everyone, I went, there's going to be hardly any water up there. There was just never a moment where this movie went, gotcha.
Well, it could have, though, if we would have been revealed that the wet bandits were the one responsible
Harry
for
and
what
Marv.
happened. Yeah. That's why the sink was left on. And that apartment was all empty. It's because they got robbed.
So when she walks in that apartment, the cool scene I liked, she walks through the kitchen and the faucet's running, and I went, turn off the faucet. Jackie's like, I don't think it's going to matter. I said, well, it's not helping either. I said, turn the faucet off. The moment that broke me in this movie where I was like, okay, I got to have some kind of fun is she's looking for her daughter the first time and she goes up the stairs onto the roof and she just about gets up to the door and there's supposed to be like this gust of wind and it blows her hair and her dress. It's supposed to be like the spirit. I went, whoo, chili con carne last night, really getting back at me today.
Oh, no.
As immediately I was making jokes from that moment on. I was just cracking jokes left and right because I had nothing else to latch on to personally for me. And I wasn't mad at the end of this movie. I wasn't upset that I even watched it. I just went, no, that one didn't work. And that happens. That happens with movies. You're going to watch something that, it's the greatest movie you've ever seen. And you watch it and you're like, no, didn't work for me. And I don't hate that Pete picked this. I understand why Pete picked it. This fits your month, Pete. This is what I asked for. I wish it was more Seventh Curse. I wish there was a little flying sperm scaring the shit out of everyone.
Flying
Yeah, it was one of
Quato.
those. I was like, I wish we would have picked something scarier, I guess. Like
The
if we
water
were gonna
tower.
go with something creepy, like I wanted like creepy. And
Okay.
instead I was left wanting to fall asleep. And
The water tower punches would have been Old Ancestor, and he busts through the water tower.
yeah.
Two
And it
already
turns out it was the man with the iron fist, and he comes through and just starts bashing brains in.
It's Chow Yun Fat. Holy shit! I
Yeah.
didn't even know he was in this movie. We pick, but I get it, Pete. I do. I know you're disappointed that we didn't get the same viewing experience you did. But I tried. I wasn't like I was with Thirst. I mean,
Did you watch that one, Troy?
I didn't.
We didn't watch Thirst. Okay, I'll watch that any day of the week.
He will. I won't.
See, I love, but once again, that's a Korean horror movie.
Korean.
Like,
Yeah, but I don't know. it's a thing. So
That's all right.
Is there anything else we want to talk about before we jump into the things and continue our thoughts?
I literally got nothing.
Okay.
I feel so bad.
Yes,
Pete
yes,
looks
Nate,
so defeated.
We know,
right
Nate,
now,
you have
and-
nothing. You've been telling me for 2 days you have nothing.
Yeah,
better
because
than
you
when
gave
Pete
me
does.
a movie with barely any ghost.
Pete does come at us with like, I have things to say in this movie, so
yeah.
he's getting
And
a little
then
bit of
I
his own
find out
medicine right
with
now.
the American remake. I'm like, wait a minute, the American remake has Jennifer Cooley. Wait a
Connolly,
minute,
you ding dong.
Connolly. The American remake has John C. Riley, only one of the greatest actors of our entire lives.
Go ahead. You
Was it-
watch. Go
Is
ahead
it
and
called
watch
Dark
the
Water?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Huh. I don't
2007, I think. Go ahead and watch the
I don't know
remake,
what it
Nate.
came out.
You pick which one's better.
I feel like I'm
Oh,
gonna
wow,
hate both
I was
equally,
gonna say, is it gonna be worse than this one? I mean, that's
but at least I get John C. Riley.
that's true.
If they can find a way to green screen him into this one as whatever character he plays, I'm cool with that too.
Pretty interesting. All right.
Well, with
Well,
today's
let's-
technology, it's possible to have John C. Riley in any movie.
Yes, Nate.
I'm sure it is. All right, boys. Well, let's get into the things. Damn it, Pete! You always make this difficult. This is all the water from upstairs
Mhm.
dripping into her apartment.
Oh no, what a horrible inconvenience. I'll just move.
Once again, makes for a shitty movie if she moves, Nate.
I'm just saying. Or I'm going to move my bed to the other side of the room.
Once again, makes for a
Her
shitty
bed wasn't
movie.
getting wet until the end.
Yeah, it got soaked at the end.
Yeah, that was
pretty
gross.
bad.
Maybe we just don't make water be the bad guy. That's not really a bad guy.
Oh, what did I watch? What did I just watch? What was
It
that?
was water the
Night
whole
Swim?
time.
Yeah,
I'm
Swim.
here-
yeah. You
I've
watch
heard
that
that.
stupid
It's a-
movie where
it's
the
a
pool
Haunted pool.
just don't go in the pool. Like, but I have to swim. I'm upper middle class. You don't understand.
Jesus. All right. Well, raining blood, water, whatever it is, pretty easy. One.
One.
It's
So
The-
when I picked this is the thing I thought for sure you were going to ding me on. Like, dude, there's only one person died in this. It maybe two. Well, no, just one.
it's
Just the mom.
all.
Do you want to count the little girl?
It's
You
all
can't-
flashback.
you
Yeah,
count
I
the
mean,
little
It
girl, but
is.
that's in flashback. So I thought for sure this is the one thing I'd be like, oh boy, they're gonna rake me over the coals for.
I
one
would
death.
have if I'd had a lot of good things to say about the movie. This would have been where I dug my heels in and be like, "There's only one fucking death in this movie. Pete. What's wrong with you?"
But now you're kicking a puppy.
I feel so fucking bad, man. Pete looks like he looks defeated.
Yeah, he looks defeated and like
This is a movie that is like it is revered as one of the great J horror movies, and it just didn't do it for you two. And
It just.
I
know,
feel
but I have
like
to
those
rethink
people
my whole
are wrong.
strategy. No, that's not.
I mean,
Look,
I
horror,
did
like
see it's
comedy,
pretty
is
high
subjective,
rated.
Nate.
Yeah.
What scares me might not scare you, so don't say that I'm wrong.
which is why The Crow is scary.
Which is why you keep fucking interrupting me. God damn it, Nate. I'm done.
You done now, or you just done? Pete left the room.
He left the room. He
shut
went to the
door.
crevice.
He's like, I'm not holding my pee anymore. I'm gonna go pee right now. That's what I'm gonna go do right now. All right, so one, which kind of kills this part.
What do you think? Zombie kill of the week?
No, it doesn't.
Does it not? There's no true kill in this movie.
Well, I mean, that little girl had it coming. I mean, you drop the bag in the thing, you just don't go get the bag.
She's 6. She doesn't
Yeah,
know any
she's-
better.
Hey, if I was 6 and I dropped my bag in a thing
You
of
would go
water, I'm
dive
not
in
going to
after
go
it.
to it because I was
Her mom would
terrified
be
of
so
drowning.
mad.
Yeah, I'd get grounded.
Once again, Nate makes for a bad movie.
I'm also
just-
going
You
like
don't
my
even have a
kids.
movie.
My kids never would have climbed up that ladder. Like I could pick them up and they get terrified. So it's like there's some kids that just will not do that dumb shit. Me at 6 years old, I probably was climbing trees and.
Oh,
doing
yeah,
dumb
you
shit.
would have
I
drowned
probably-
for
I
sure.
would- I definitely would have drowned. I've
Tall
almost
as trees.
This is the worst part about this too is I have almost drowned before, and this didn't even dredge up any
Yeah,
of
that's
that.
weird.
Like,
Hmm.
yeah, I literally had my best friend save my life. I
Wow.
was about gone, and this never dredged. Only saying that right there is the only time that I was like, "Oh yeah, I've almost drowned." It's just nonchalantly.
Oh, yeah, that was a thing. That was a
Easy cash
Tuesday.
about it.
That was a hell of a day. But, you know,
So let me, since there
Sure,
wasn't
go ahead.
really any deaths, I'd like to pick a favorite scene.
Sure, that sounds like
And
a good thing.
I think my favorite scene was when it was the Shining scene where the elevator door opens and a tidal wave of dirty water hits that
it's
poor
so
little 6-year-old.
gross.
And I think James and I went, ah.
Oh, Jackie was not happy with that scene whatsoever.
Because that little girl really took that stunt. That OSHA is not a thing in Japan at this point.
She's a trooper for that one
No
because
shit.
the camera never cuts off of her.
Uh-uh.
It's like they filled up a tank in the elevator and
Yeah.
let it go. Like,
Uh,
bravo! But also, I was like, "What is coming out of it? Like,
Yeah.
ew,
it's
ew!"
First come out of Nate's sink. That's what's coming out.
Yeah,
of
that's what it was.
No, it was pretty bad. I like it. Doing our favorite scene because I'm going to stick with mine is when she walks into that apartment upstairs and it's flooded. It's like 4 to 6 inches of water on the floor, which shouldn't happen. It should be gushing everywhere.
Right.
You know, but
She's
that's
pulling out the door and everything.
that's
yeah.
kind of your first inclination that she's experiencing some type of, entity type thing.
Mhm.
But the way she walks through and she actually spins around almost like a full rotation, and then all of a sudden her daughter appears in the corner, soaking wet, just completely drenched. That was probably the creepiest scene in the movie. Like, and that's
Her
even
mouth-
with me making a
Her
joke.
mouth is open and her eyes are closed, and she's kind of looking
Right.
up at the ceiling. It's very
And
creepy.
it's the only time that them mentioning her sleepwalking comes into play,
Mhm.
because it's like they're trying to make it out like the daughter is experiencing that because she was somewhat asleep. Her eyes, she wasn't wide-eyed. She was halfway,
Mhm.
eyes closed when she was disappeared sometimes. But again, they didn't continue with some of these awesome thoughts, these little awesome little gems that are sitting in this movie, and they went, nah, let's go here. There's this, or oh yeah, she done this. Nah, let's do this now. But yeah, I like that scene going upstairs, the flooded room.
I know Nate didn't like anything. So how about you, Troy?
I like the elevator scene.
Yeah. I was about to say that I like the elevator scene I liked was, and I'm trying to remember why, because there was a lot of tension at this moment where the doors are closing. It's just as they close, she sees the little girl down the hall stick her head out of the door, and she's trying to get back up in time to see what that was. I think she was looking for her daughter at that point.
She was knocking on the door because she knew that's where the leak was coming from.
That was it.
She mentions to the one guy, he goes, she's like, I went up and someone was there and they didn't answer the door, because I think they were telling her, well, maybe it's the upstairs apartment has a leak. And it's like, well, then fucking go fix it. That was a whole other thing that was irritating me. It's like, well, maybe it's them. It's your fucking building. Go up there and fix the damn thing.
Fix the damn thing. But she's a woman, and the man doesn't listen to a woman, especially
Or
in Japan.
the maintenance man never mentions, oh, you mean the apartment where the missing girl used to live? We don't even find out about that till she goes up and looks at the name. I guess that's a thing. They put the name above
the name above
the apartment.
Well, that's like it's like the Smiths or something.
Yeah, well, it's like what we do with mailboxes. You
Yeah.
usually have your last name on a mailbox. I guess that, again, it's a different culture. I'm not admonishing it for it. I was just like, no one is giving a shit. Like, either they're giving too many shits or not enough shits in this movie. It's just silly. But.
Nate, no, nothing, Nate.
What? Why are we looking at me?
Did you have a favorite scene?
Did you
I
have
already
a favorite
said.
scene?
I was like, it was the elevator. The little shadow came out, and that maybe it gave me hope that maybe something will happen in this movie. And I was like, oh, cool. I like shadow figures. Shadow figures are creepy, and they did nothing.
They time leaped. They quantum leaped 10
that's
years.
what they did. They went 10 years for some reason. And
Scott Bakula woke up and realized he was a 16-year-old Asian girl trying to figure out what actually happened and why
I
he
thought
was
that
sitting
was
here.
Rob Schneider.
No. We're doing Quantum Leap, not Rob
Oh,
Schneider.
my bad.
No, he has every jump could be his way home, but yes, I don't know. All right, let's actually do the difficult thing here. Let's rate this bad boy.
Guys, it's okay. He just wanted his machete back.
All right, Pete, you're driving, bub.
Okay, let's
You're
do
driving the
this.
boat in the
Driving
water.
boat. Let's just get it over with, Nate.
It's a 5 because, like I said, it's not like
Oh, okay.
badly made. It's not. It just wasn't for me. It's not creepy enough for me. It's not sad at all to me. Like, I thought the main woman's performance was just okay. Like, it just, but I 4 is something I would absolutely hate. Like, it wasn't like I was dreading my entire time watching this. I was waiting and waiting and waiting, and then like when it ended, I was like, man, like it's
Just wanted more.
well made, but yeah, like I was like, it's not like there's any gorgeous like shots or cinematography in it for me either. Like it just felt like an undercooked cake, and that there was nothing but
They forgot to put
anything
the
there for
eggs
me.
into it.
They forgot all the ingredients, the ghost ingredients, that is, the spooky ones. So yeah, like it exists. If you want to go check it out, sure. I don't think it's gonna do you any harm, but you're gonna might be like me and walk away from it going, well, that was an hour and 40 minutes I could have not done that with. So that's my verdict tonight. I don't know.
Right. Thank you so much. 5 for Nate. Charlie, what's up?
I'm gonna echo kind of what Nate says. Like, I don't hate this. I think it just missed for me and him. And it's not that it's a bad movie. Like Nate, I wasn't dreading watching it. It wasn't like watching HK where I was just like stab my eyeballs
Yeah,
out.
I didn't want to watch this at 3 times speed.
Yeah, so I'm a little torn because 5 means it's average. For me, it's not. But I agree with Nate. I don't want to. It doesn't deserve to be less than a 5. I'm going to give it a 5 and middle of road it because if I know someone's into if I know someone's into J horror, they've probably seen this. But if I know someone that wants something that's a little different than your normal slashers and horror movies, I might toss this one in. I was like, hey, did you like The Ring? They're like, yeah. I was like, did you ever see the guy's other one? And they're like, no. Well, check it out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm gonna. I didn't hate it. It just didn't resonate with me, and I think that says a lot.
That's fair.
And I watched the movie, Pete.
You watched the movie, yes.
I did too.
I always
Pete.
appreciate that. Troy, what you got for us?
I thought it was a 7. It is a little slow, but like I think it just builds tension, and there's a lot of waiting for that shoe to drop. That I find effective. I thought it was good.
Thank you, sir. 7 is my score as well. I think The Grudge is a superior film. The Ring also. So I like those two better, but it's been a while since I've seen this one, and I wanted to kind of gauge your.
You tried to broaden our horizons.
See what? Yeah, and this is a little more arty. One of the things we didn't talk about, I thought the building had a lot of liminal space horror in it, like those long gray, everything's the same thing hallways.
It was hard to get your bearings. Like when she's looking around upstairs on the 4th floor, you're realizing that there's another hallway one way, and then there's the stairs. I got that. The one thing that did annoy me, like I see how he shot it and it was cool. He does a little bit of a shaky cam, ever so
it's
subtly.
Not as steady as we're used to. Yeah, I think
especially up on the roof. I was like, oh God, get a tripod, something. Yeah, because I felt like he was like shooting.
It felt like it was found footage type at that
just
point.
A little bit.
It wasn't as bad as some I've seen, but it was like I knew someone was holding the camera, and I was like, I need some stabilization here.
I should have looked up a budget on this. I don't think it was very much. But yeah, there we go. That's Dark Water, a couple of 7s and a couple of 5s.
See, we didn't
not as bad as they have been in the past. Just complete misses for Charlie and Nate. So.
I feel like you could have brought something scarier to the table. That's all. Pete.
Okay, that's my goal next year, to find something scarier for Nate.
Yeah, just scary.
Just scary.
No budget, but gross box office was $1.6 million. That's the only thing I'm seeing as far as the money for this.
Okay. Well,
but again, this is fairly early too, and again, I think
it's hard to say. That could have been like,
and was that theatrical
weekend
money? Because
it said
this
global.
probably global. Okay.
Yeah, which I don't. It doesn't even.
It probably had like a limited run,
art house run.
Yeah,
yeah. I don't think
it gives me hope that I could, film water just dropping and make $1.6 million.
Okay, moving on. Sadly,
right.
we only have 1 week left in this month.
We
It's
do.
so
Do you
very
want
sad.
Nate to do a trash review? Real
Yeah,
quick,
I got
or
a trash opinion for this
do
one.
Do we feel bad enough for
Nate
Pete?
already
to
gave
do
me
it?
No
a
one
trash
has
review.
given a trash review because Charlie and I were nice. This has got one that I want to bring up for a
Go
reason.
for it.
Okay.
I'm the trash man. I come out, I throw trash all over the ring, and then I start eating garbage. And then I pick up the trash can and I smash the guy on the head.
Oh, that's going to be a disaster.
It's been a minute. I'm glad it's back.
It's never not funny.
Yeah,
He's right. Pete hates it, but he loves the drop. That's the
I know.
thing about this.
I agree with a lot of
drop
what this
is
person
gold.
says. So this is Black Mariah, who gave it a 2 out of 10 back in 2005, and they said, "I want my life back." Okay, look, I like slow, creepy horror movies as much as anyone, but this movie was just horrible. Here's a spoiler. Oh, wait a minute. There are no spoilers because absolutely nothing happens. Nothing at all. At least Ju-On and Ringu had a good story somewhere in there, but this movie is flat nonsensical. The pacing is bad, the acting isn't all that great, and there's just nothing of interest anywhere to be found in this movie. Really, if you want something creepy, check out Suicide Circle. If you want a good Japanese
Suicide
movie,
Club. They meant Suicide Club.
That's what they meant.
That's touchy subject material. I'm not cool covering that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Not
damn,
cool
I was
covering
gonna
that
be
one.
like, let's cover Suicide Club
No,
next.
we're not. They play it off as a comedy at times, and it's not cool.
And then if you want a
Not
good
saying you
Japanese
can't watch
movie, watch Zatachi. Just don't bother with this movie. So what you're saying is don't keep Suicide Club in my cart right now because I won't be able to get you two suckers to cover it, even though we had to watch Dark
You're
Water.
an adult. Watch it. I just don't
No,
wanna
I've
cover
seen
that
it.
one.
It just I haven't heard of it since high school. So I was like, oh shit, I did forget that exists.
Hey, I watched the movie Pete cut from this whole month. It was like I'm glad he cut it, but I watched it, so fine. I had seen it before, but I needed
All
a
I know is
refresher.
Suicide Club gets pretty violent, so
It does.
Well,
It's no.
for
Nate.
those that don't know, Pete cut Ichi the Killer from
Ichi the Killer.
This, and
I
you know
would
what?
much rather
After
take Itchy the Killer over this.
no, there's some real problematic stuff in that movie. and
I still
that's
would have
not
taken
what
it over this.
That's not what we do on this show, man.
No,
There's still our rules are loose, but they're still there.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. So
That's why I don't bring up any of those women in prison movies.
Well, those aren't movies; those are on certain sites.
No.
what was I don't know. What for some reason Jackie and I were scrolling on Tubi and it brought up like all these like Aztec women versus the Mummy. I'm like, why did Pete pick that one? Well, yeah, am I right? Is that okay?
Lorena Velasquez is in that one.
I knew that had to be a Pete type thing but it's immediately popped up and I'm like, why are we not watching this? Where's this one at?
Yeah, I need Tubi to have its own Pete section, and then that's what it's called, and everyone's like, "Who's this Pete guy?"
You idiots are going to hate wrestling women versus the Aztec Mummy.
You don't know that.
Okay, are there wrestling women in it?
Yes.
Is
Do they
there a
fight
mummy
something?
in it?
Not really. Sort of.
But
maybe.
do they
not a
versus
mummy?
something?
Yeah, it's sort of a mummy.
You know what? Honestly, you should have picked that movie where the ring girl fights the
No.
grudge person.
No.
I would have much rather watched that.
You would have hate quit this podcast had I picked that one.
No, I get to see two ghosts go against each other. It sounds awesome.
No. It sounds awesome.
If Pete says we would have quit, that has to be pretty bad. Especially after
I
what we
don't
just
know.
put him through.
Pete also has said this is pretty great. It ends up being really fucking bad.
I am not going to discredit the fact that Pete and Troy really got something out of this movie. As I think this is the difference of
they
people
definitely
watching movies. HK Forbidden Superhero, yeah, I got a fucking problem with Pete picking that fucking movie and singing its praises.
I picked that one on purpose. I knew.
I know you did, and that's
supposed to pick all of them on purpose.
That's why I laid into that one, and that's why I went. I can't come into this mad because I'm not mad, and I can't even play mad. It just didn't work. But okay, speaking of getting mad, Pete,
yeah,
you have one more pick. We got
do.
one more week of this.
Now I have to ask because Pete sent a text earlier today saying, "Oh crap, my fourth movie is no longer available online."
Well, it was no longer available on Tubi, which is where I thought it was. It was not there.
So is it the same movie, or have you had to switch gears at the last minute?
Same movie. I found it on YouTube.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Okay, that's fine. As long as it's not archive.org, because I have
Yeah,
banned that from all of my servers. I've banned it from all of my servers. You can't even get on there
YouTube. You
now.
can up the speed of a movie, right?
No. You're not going to want to on this one. Although, no, wait. No, I'm not going to say nothing. I'm going to give you the title of the movie. I'm not going to tell you nothing about it. You're just going to go watch it. Okay? I'm not going to tell you what it's like. I'm not even going to tell you if you're going to like it or not. You might hate this. I don't care. This movie's a blast in this guy's face.
He's so fucking salty right now.
I am salty. You both eat a bag of dicks.
What the fuck did I do? Why do I gotta eat a bag of dicks?
We were polite on this one.
Why can't I eat shit and live? What happened to that?
No, instead,
that's for later. That's after this movie you're gonna hit us with. Okay. Eat shit and live is next week, everybody.
I gotta save some of those classics.
Damn, a whole bag of dicks? Can we split the bag of dicks?
Sure.
Like, I only want to eat half a bag of dicks.
Is it like party size or like snack size?
Are they gummies?
It's not snack size.
It's not snack size? Damn it.
No.
Okay. All right, Pete, hit us with the movie.
We're going to watch Super Inframan. It's on YouTube. And that's all I'm going to say, because I'm not going to sell it to you jokers any more than giving you the title of the film.
Spell that motherfucker. What the hell did
Super
you just say?
Inframan. INFRAMAN. Super Inframan. It is on. It is on. What? I saw it today. Okay.
No, like on IMDb, I can't even find it.
It might just be Inframan on IMDb.
Yeah, Inframan
from 1975.
That sounds right.
INFRA
dash MAN.
Okay, I'll toss this into the chat.
Oh, there is Super Inframan on YouTube.
It's Super Inframan on the movie poster, but it's only Inframan on IMDb.
Yeah, it's one of those. It's Hong Kong.
Okay, it looks like it could be Power Rangers-esque.
I'm not saying nothing.
Okay, he's not going to say nothing. I've not seen this movie, but this has popped up on other things I've watched because a lot of the Godzilla movies or help me, Pete. I'm going to feel real bad for
Godzilla, Gamera.
No, the human.
Ultraman.
Ultraman.
Kamen Rider.
Yeah, Kamen Rider. This has popped up a few times after I've watched something. I guarantee Sludge knows all about this movie.
Yes. Yeah, Sludge knows all about
it. I'm here for this.
Okay.
I'm looking at the pictures. Yeah, I'm here for this one.
Watch it early. Watch it often.
Do I need to get that deep into it? But
no, you're
just
very silly. This is a very silly movie. Yes, it is very much Ultraman, Power Rangers. It's a guy in a suit that can grow, and there are monsters, and there's an over-the-top bad guy in it. And if you're a fan of the most recent Mystery Science Theater with Felicia Day and
Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt, yeah. The opening credits, the Foot Clan, sort of the Foot Clan people, the what do I want to say here? The henchmen.
The henchmen, yeah.
Of Mystery Science Theater are the henchmen in Super Inframan.
I am.
This is a kids movie. It's for children.
Yes.
I can
definitely tell that.
All the kids can watch this. It's perfectly fine, perfectly acceptable. It's a silly good time. Get out your popcorn.
I feel like I'm either going to love this or absolutely hate this.
I'm pretty sure you're going to hate it, Nate. You're going to hate the fuck out of this. I promise you. Charlie, I think Charlie's going to like it.
I think I'm going to enjoy this one because I know this style and this era of
Super Sentai.
Exactly. This was.
But it's like, but I like Power Rangers, which is the vibe I'm getting from this.
You could like it.
Nate's going to be
it's not a team.
50 on this. This definitely would have been something I watched as a kid. I had access to. Like, I didn't even get to watch Ultraman till I was like in my 20s.
Oh, you may both. I didn't get that in my area.
Right, because they just I think I saw some comics. But no, I love these type of movies. I'm here for this. I am excited. And
well, Nate was excited last week, so just hold your horses.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like,
I'm pretty sure
here if you're excited.
What I saw in the pictures is in the movie, at least, so I'm okay with what I'm seeing in the pictures.
Looks like there's a couple different cuts, so I don't know. Pick one.
Well, we're gonna pick one on YouTube.
There's two of them on YouTube. They're both 128 minutes long. Yeah, or one's 124, one's 128.
Is one maybe a dub and the other? Subtitle.
It could be it.
The one I'm looking at here at 128 minutes says it's the English version, so it could be.
That's probably dubbed then.
Probably the dubbed version, yeah.
Because
Shaw Brothers.
Did you say?
Yeah, that's what it says.
This is saying on IMDb that's an hour and a half. Did you just say it was 2 hours on that one?
No, I'm sorry, 128 minutes.
Oh, thank God. Okay, I was going to say 2 hours. That just seems excessive.
I'm sorry.
No. Pete messed up again.
I said that wrong. 1 hour and 28 minutes.
I was going to say 128 minutes is 2 hours and 8 minutes.
I was like, I don't think they had film reels long enough for 2 hours when they were making these. You know, so you worried me for 1 second. I'm back on your team all of a sudden.
Okay. Yeah. No one needs a 2 hour Ultraman movie. Nobody needs
no.
As much as I love it, I don't want that.
March is around the corner.
And you get rid of me for 2 weeks? Is that why you're excited?
Yes. No, not at all. Not at all.
No.
All right. So next week, to wrap up the month of Pete, is Super Inframan. Play along with us on the YouTubes, and I guess we'll see you next week, Ed.
Yep, and if you want to keep on following us, just check us out over at Give Me Back My Horror Movies, the Facebook group. Give Me Back My Action Movies, the Facebook group. Both of us are on Instagram. We are on X, TikTok, Threads, YouTube. So when you get done watching Inframan, check us out over on YouTube. Get them views up. Subscribe over there. Not that we put a ton of effort into it, but it'd be nice to see the numbers get up a little bit. Rank us 5 stars over on Spotify and Apple. Leave a review over there. We just got done a few weeks ago reviewing a movie for Screambox. We did Here for Blood. That is available now. We put out a ton of content. We went hard this time. 2 interviews.
This is the hardest we've went for a movie.
Truly.
But it was great. I mean,
yeah.
Troy, you gotta see this movie.
Crabs didn't get the release that this movie
Sadly,
did.
no.
Had Crabs had got that kind of release, I would have went just as hard for that movie too. But yeah, so check us out on all of those episodes we got out there. Also a lot of our friends, Flicks and Friends, who was on one of our episodes. Which one was he on?
Seventh Curse. Dustin.
Seventh Curse.
Dustin was on Seventh Curse. That's right.
Dustin was on Seventh Curse. We didn't make
Ruben on.
Ruben was a treat. And then he keeps torturing me on Facebook. Now we're friends.
Is he?
Yeah. So
good for Ruben.
Yeah, we're having a good time over there. We'll see if we can get someone. I guess the big question everyone has, though, will Troy make it to a 4-part month of Pete month?
He better.
See.
We will see.
Tune in next week to find out.
That's right.
All right, everybody, let's get out of here. You want some water sounds to get out on this, Pete?
The tear, just record my tears coming from my eyes because you guys didn't like this one.
Pete standing out in the thunderstorm, crying.
Yeah, with an umbrella. When the umbrella gets hit by lightning,
he's got a little red bag around his shoulder.
He's gonna lose it for the 3rd time.
It wasn't raining indoors in this movie. It was always raining outdoors in this movie.
It was raining a lot.
It was raining
there.
all the damn time.
So much rain. Okay, let's get out.
Dark water.
Now,
was nighttime when it rained.
Let's talk about how.
I mean, I would have been upset had there been no water. Yeah.
Honestly, that would have felt very on brand for Pete.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
This movie's called Dark Water. It's in a desert. It's amazing.
It's just two guys eating pudding. That's all they're doing.
Oh my god! Eat pudding.
Milk was a bad
in
choice.
the desert.
Oh, you don't eat dairy when it's hot. That's just no.
That's the horror movie that Pete would make.
Would make the stuff in a desert.
He'd be like, don't you see? It's an allegory for man's struggle with dairy products.
With lactose intolerance.
Yes.
We don't have time for
Man
intolerance
was not
around
meant to
here.
have lactose.
All right, we're ending on